Today we are starting my next reading vlog, and we're doing a variation of a vlog that I've done the last few years, but I'm doing a slightly different version of it to sort of match with my TBR read down goals for the year. So usually kind of in late January to February, I have started doing these vlogs where I'll read other people's favorites of the previous year. So I kind of let people's enthusiasm from end of the year videos influence me. And this year I decided, I still watched as many of those videos as I could before I just couldn't take anymore because I enjoy them. But there's just so many people now, I feel like, making these kinds of videos of this kind of content that I was just like, oh my God, it just keeps going. So I did watch a lot of them, and there definitely were books that were already on my TBR that I could have chosen, but it just wasn't quite feeling like the vibe. The vibe feels to me more, rather than cobbling together things from my TBR to make that concept work, what I decided to do instead is go to my TBR and look for books that I can remember who influenced me to buy them. Like, I got them on the influence of a person because they loved them so much and they were talking about them so wonderfully, or they specifically recommended them to me. So I'm going to show you, I pulled 10 books. I don't know if I'll read all 10 of these in this vlog. So full disclosure, you're about to see books, not all of which might get read in this. I have a time in mind for this vlog, so we'll just kind of see how many books I get to. I might read all of them, I might read half of them, who knows. We'll see what happens in the next month. But I'm gonna show you all the books, and before I start reading and telling you who actually did recommend these, I welcome you to go down to the comments and put your guesses in, because I always think that's fun to see if people are right. So I'm just gonna run through these. These are just in the order they happen to be piled up in. So here we go. Burn the Negative by Josh Wenning. This is a thriller that has like a cult classic movie element to it, and like a serial killer, like the killer's killing again kind of a thing. This I like. Honestly, the reason I was drawn to this is it reminds me sort of the plot of Scream 3, which is my favorite of the Scream movies, and I just felt like this could be up my alley. So I also feel like I got this on a big price drop when it was coming out in paperback, so that also influenced me. A Good Day to Pie by Misha Pop is a cozy mystery. Competitive baking takes a murderous turn in Misha Pop's decadent and addicting Second Pies Before Guys cozy mystery. This is a sequel, but the sequel was specifically the one that somebody recommended to me in particular. And there is a baking competition element to this, sort of like the Great British Bake Off. And we have a murderous pie maker. So, a cozy mystery. Rules for Ghosting by Shelley J. Shore. This is a paranormal contemporary romance where our main character is taking over their family's undertaking business, and there is a ghost who I think they fall in love with or have a romance with. I believe that the author and the main character are trans men, but I could be wrong there. One or the other. I think almost certainly the main character is a trans man. But anyway, so it's like gay paranormal romance, which just sounds like it's for me. This was another one that was specifically recommended to me. Then we have like I'm not even sure if this counts as middle grade. This might even just be like chapter book, but Braveland's Broken Pride by Erin Hunter, which I believe is a collective nom de plume of several authors. And this is the first in a like chapter book series about safari animals. A lion cast out from his pride, an elephant who can read the bones of the dead, a baboon rebelling against his destiny. For generations, the animals of the African plains have been ruled by a strict code, only kill to survive, with these three unlikely heroes. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll get into it if I end up reading that. But this is sort of like a middle grade, maybe even like just chapter book, kids book, animal fantasy kind of story. Then we've got James by Percival Everett. This was a huge book the year before last, and I think it was also getting read quite a bit last year. It is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn from the perspective of Jim. So you don't need me to hype you up on this. This has been everywhere. This is probably going to be the hardest for you to guess whose recommendation I picked this up on. Okay, then we've got Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi. I have read one other book from this author. I read Riot Baby and enjoyed it. This is a sci-fi book that was very polarizing when it came out, and the polarization is what drew me to it. You might be able to guess who specifically influenced me to pick it up, but it is in the 2050s. Earth has begun to empty. Those with the means and privilege have departed the great cities of the United States for more comfortable confines of space colonies. Those left behind salvage what they can from the collapsing infrastructure. So yeah, this is a primal biblical epic flung into the future. So yeah, I think that this is a dystopian sci-fi, a lot I'm imagining about like global warming, displacement of people from global warming and gentrification. So yeah, this one I think is heavier and controversial in terms of if people liked it or not. Then we've got The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. This was recommended to me because I've been in my cozy middle grade era, and this has become, I think this got adapted into something, maybe a Netflix show or something, but I got this before it was adapted. But it's about a robot trying to survive in the wilderness, befriending the animals and living on this island. So I'm hoping that this stays cozy and does not break my heart. I'm assuming so based on the recommendation I got, that I'll be okay. Then we have The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the first book in the Queens of Renthia series. This was going to be my first Sarah Beth Durst until I got pulled into the spell shop. And I picked this up originally because I had heard so many good things about Sarah Beth Durst over the years and wanted to try her writing. And so that's why originally I was persuaded that this was the place to start. I love her writing, so I'm now even more excited to read that. The Warden by Daniel M. Ford. I was recommended this as not exactly a read-alike, but vibe-wise being similar to an Alona Andrews type speculative book. The logline is for fans who have always wanted their Twin Peaks to have some wizards. The Warden is a nonstop action-adventure story from author Daniel M. Ford. I'm imagining, I don't know if that means that there's a romance, the Alona Andrews comparison, but that kind of like rompy adventure with a very competent main character. The last book in the stack is Simon Sort of Says by Aaron Bow. This is a National Book Award long list, and I think winner. I think it ended up winning. It is middle grade about, I don't know if it actually comes out and says it, but I am inferring from description that this is about a young boy who is dealing with surviving a school shooting. So this is, I'm expecting potentially a tearjerker, but if the right mood strikes and I'm okay having my tears jerked, I'm confident that this is extremely good. A worthwhile read that's not just like manipulatively tear-jerking. So, okay, those are the 10 books. We'll see what I get read. Remember, put your guesses in for who recommended what, and then let me know if you were right. So, yeah, I'll see you when I've read a book. Well, this isn't a great way to start off the vlog. After going through the list of books, I was like, oh, I'm inspired. I'll go ahead and pick one up. And the one that sounded the most intriguing to me was Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi. And I had read the first couple, the first 10-ish pages of this in my chopping block challenge, where I was like reading the beginnings of books to make sure they were actually something that I was interested in. And I can see why I kept this on, because the actual writing in this is so good. I'm really liking like the themes. It's a very sad dystopia, very sad sci-fi, but it's very non-linear, and it's just not really working for me as a novel. I'm realizing that maybe I should just seek out this author's short work, because I'm on page 75 and like that's about what I got in me for this. So this is not at all a bad book, and I can see somebody who likes this kind of plot more than I do loving this book. But it's just not a book for me, I think. So I'm sorry, Angela. So this is one I picked up because a few years ago, Angela from Literature Science Alliance absolutely loved this. Angela pitches, like sells me on books so well. I love the way she pitches books. We definitely have a lot of overlap in our tastes, but this particular one, I think she's a much more mature sci-fi reader than I am. I feel like she's better read in sci-fi. She keeps up with it a lot more. So this might just be that I don't have a mature enough palate for this lack of plot that she probably does. So don't let my non-enjoyment of this put you off unless you're like me and you need a little bit more plot in your sci-fi. But if you're an ideas forward reader in sci-fi, I think that this is definitely one worth picking up because the writing is great. And the exploration of like gentrification and like the ghettoization of Earth after the elites have ruined it, I think is a very interesting concept and very relevant. It just like as a book, not going to do it for me. So this is a good learning though for me that Tochi Onyebuchi's premises often sound appealing to me, and I should resist if they are not novellas because I just think that's the link for me that his stuff works. So I'm sorry we're starting with the DNF, but I feel like it was a constructive DNF in terms of me defining my own taste with this particular author. Okay, I did finish a book, and we've got a great study in contrasts here because instead of giving a book a DNF, I gave this book, I'm going to say a 4.5. I think this is one of my favorite things I've read this year, which is surprising to me because this is a cozy mystery. And that's usually not my bag. But I did get this as a recommendation from not someone online, but someone in my real life. My dear friend Jolene, who you guys have seen before, enjoyed, I think she read the first one and recommended that to me. And then when I read the description of both books, this is the one I picked. This is technically the second book. I picked this up without having read the first and did not feel lost, so I would say you can do that. But I picked this one up because it is a woman entering what is basically an American version of the Great British Bake Off, and I'm obsessed with the Great British Bake Off. I love it. Me and my mom watch it every holiday season. Like, we don't watch it when it's airing over the summer. We save it up and we watch it over the holidays. So, love it. Such a cozy show. And I had tried to read a mystery set in that type of setting before. It wasn't last year, I think it was the year before, The Golden Spoon. And it was fine, it was good. I think I gave that like a 3.5, but it didn't really scratch the GBBO itch I had. So I was like, okay, I'll try again. And honestly, my expectations for this were a little bit low. I think I picked this up because I was in a bookstore and needed to buy something. That sounds like why I picked it up. You know, I have a well-documented policy of if I am in a independent bookstore, I will buy something. So I went ahead and picked this up, and I was like, you know what? I'm hoping for a 3.5. Like, I think this will be cozy and nice. This, I don't know that the mystery is as good as, you know, what I would typically like, but this got the competition part so right. It was so cozy. It was exactly what I would hope something like this would do. And the mystery, I think, was fine. So the main character is magic. This is like a magical realism. So I guess technically this is a cozy fantasy mystery. Magical realism. She is able to infuse her pie with properties, and typically what she does is she kills off terrible people, specifically terrible men. She has a policy of only men because enough women are getting killed in this world, which that was in one of the first chapters, and I was like, I like her. I like that as the vibe. Yeah, I won't get into the details of all of that because I think it could, like, I infer that that would be a spoiler for the first book. So if you did want to start there and didn't want to start with this, I won't get into all the details there. But anyway, and also, by the way, don't read the back of this book because it gives too much away. But anyway, so that's her thing, and that's like her side hustle. Her main thing is that she bakes pies. And sells them. So she wants to go on this competition show because the prize is $100,000 and she wants to start her own. So she gets on the show, and then like murder ensues from there. This just like hit the spot for me. The mystery, I would say, is like competent. I would say it's the level of a mystery I would expect from like a good episode, like a a solid episode of Midsummer Murders. It's not revolutionary, but it scratches the itch. It gets the job done. The star are all of the contestant dynamics and the description of the challenges, all of that. So I would say if I were being like objective, this is probably more like a 4-star, but this just hit the spot for me so well. And I read the descriptions of book 1 and 3. 3 doesn't sound like it's for me, but I do think I'm going to put 1 on my list because that seems like it would also be cozy and fun, especially now that I kind of know some of the players. But yeah, I was surprised at how much I love this, and what an interesting start to the vlog. We had a DNF and we had a favorite of the year. This is the second book I've read in the last few months that was a direct recommendation from Jolene that I gave 4.5 stars to. So now I'm kind of thinking once I get through my TBR read down stuff, I need to do a vlog with just her recommending me books because she seems like she's having a very good hit rate lately. So this, glad that I not surprised that I like this, surprised I like this as much as I ended up liking it. Alrighty. Update. I have 2 books to tell you about. One I DNF'd almost immediately, and so we're gonna just group it in here together with this update. Bravelands, Broken Pride by Erin Hunter. This was on Bookish Realm's Best of the Year for Kids a couple of years ago, and I think this would be a good pick for children, but picking it up, I was like, this is not really for adult readers at all. But I think for children, this is probably a great pick, but this was a kind of a swing and a try to see if like a kind of more chapter book might be something I'd be into. And I think if you're a parent looking for something that you are not going to hate reading along with your kids, this seems like it'd be great. And Bookish Realm is a literal actual professional book recommender since she is a librarian. So I would recommend it to parents looking for something good to read with their kids, but not for just adult readers who like fantasy things aimed at younger readers. Okay, but then I did finish a book that I have kind of mixed feelings about, but that I did enjoy. Like, I had fun reading this book, and that is Burn the Negative by Josh Winning. I got this on the recommendation of Ashley from Ashley's Little Library, and I picked this up because she was talking about how campy it is, and it is. It's very campy and very fun. The first, I'm gonna say like 30 to 40% of this, I was like, oh my God, am I gonna have another 4.5 right off the bat? I was really into the setup of this. It also does have some mixed media elements. Here we go. So you guys know I'm a sucker for that. I enjoyed that part. And it reads so much like a take on the Scream 3 movie, which is my favorite of the Scream movies, and I love the Scream movies because it really is, they're doing kind of like a reboot of the series. It's very much about Hollywood in terms of its theming and who's getting killed. So I really liked a lot of this. The main character was a little too stupid to live, but in a way that felt like just kind of campy. And I will say, she is not giving Neve Campbell, because Sydney Prescott is like making the best choices she can within a crazy situation. And this main character is a little too stupid to live. But yeah, okay. So I was having fun. I was like, oh, this is really fun. Like slasher horror. It has like a paranormal element to it, especially in the sort of, which again was very much in Scream 3, like, is this actually paranormal or is it not? We have, our main character was the child star in the original one. She's an adult now who got tricked into covering this reboot by her boss, who's also her ex. So yeah, I was into all of that. It then starts getting a little drawn out. Like, I think this would have benefited from an edit of about 75-ish pages to keep the pacing up. And then towards the end, it starts making some choices that I didn't really like, that I think kind of went off the rails a little bit. How to say this? I think that there was a world to have the same things happening, or like the same outcomes happening at the end, but with execution or like the way it happened aligning a little bit better to kind of the vibe of the rest of the book. Like it feels like the way some of the things happen are kind of trying to have it both ways, and I didn't necessarily like that. I mean, honestly, there's a couple, it's one of those books that have a couple of like fake endings. I think if the last ending had been eliminated, the book would have been a lot stronger for it. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars because I was very entertained by this. I have critiques of it, obviously, as we were just discussing, but overall, like, I had a really fun time reading this, and I just think the author kind of didn't know how to land the plane fully. But yeah, this was really fun. If you're looking for campy horror that may or may not have a paranormal element, if you are a fellow Scream lover, like a 90s slasher kind of lover, I think this is definitely worth picking up. It was very fun. I thought this was high on its entertainment value, at least for me, because this was playing right into like my favorite kind of horror. Okay, forgive the gimbal in frame, but this is my crappy one, and I'm about to go to bed, and this is the only one I could find. So, I am so distracted by this. Maybe I can crop this out in post. If not, whatever. Okay, so I started a book that I'm actually going to move to a different video, which is The Warden by Daniel M. Ford, because this is one that was recommended to me by Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. And once I started reading it, I remembered specifically the context that she recommended this to me in was talking about I was looking for more cozy fantasy or cozy speculative stuff that I would enjoy. And she was like, this is somewhere between Alona Andrews and a cozy. So I'm actually going to move this to a vlog that I'm going to be doing pretty soon, reading cozy fantasy. So I enjoyed the first couple chapters, but remembered, I was like, this feels kind of cozy. And that reminded me that this would work in that vlog. So excited to finish that one, but we're going to move that to a different video because this has so many books in it that feels responsible. The book I did finish is James by Percival Everett. I picked this up. So this has gotten so much hype. And so there's any number of people you could have thought I picked this up because of, but the person who convinced me to pick it up was Jess from Jess Owen's channel. Because we were doing the Goodreads Choice Award reaction together, and she said, oh, I really enjoyed the audio of that. And just some of the stuff she was saying made me think like, okay, this sounds like it's not just navel-gazy fiction, which is sometimes my problem with literary fiction. Also, let's see if I can successfully change hands because my arm is getting tired. Oh, look at that. Okay. She made me, like, it's been getting these rave reviews. It still is. People are still like reading this and enjoying it. And I just wasn't sure what to make of them in terms of like, is it plotless lit fic? I think not, based on the source material, but you just never know. And her endorsement in particular is what made me pick this up. I really enjoyed this. And this is a extremely high quality book. Quality wise, this should be like a 4.5 or a 5. In terms of my enjoyment, I don't really like the source material, to be honest with you. I know lots of people love Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, but it was never really my favorite classic literature. I think so the first one I read was Tom Sawyer, and I liked that. Then I think there was a few of us who, one of the options for our summer reading was Life on the Mississippi by Mark Twain. We all hated it. It was awful. Like, I hate that book. I wonder what I would think about it now, but as a teen, I was like, oh my God, this is interminable. He's just he's just talking about life on the Mississippi. Like, this is just awful. So I came into The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn being like, oh God, what's going to happen? And I don't love the plot in it. Even as a teen, I had a lot of questions about the racial dynamics and representation in it. Yeah, I just don't really like that book, to be totally honest with you. So I think if this had been based on a book that I liked better in terms of its plot, I probably would have given this a 5 star because this is so well written. Love what he did with the character Jim in the original. He prefers James. It's so funny in some ways. It's so dark and sad in others. I really enjoyed the compassion that he gave James for Huck, and sort of like showing James's ability to see Huck as a human in a way that the adults in Huck's life can't see James as a human, I thought was really poignant. I really enjoyed the code switching that this book uses. I thought that was extremely effective and a good way to address the dialect question. That was a question I had coming into this book of like, oh God, what are we going to do with that? I thought that was brilliant. And the ending is so poetic. It's like one of the, that last like 10-ish pages is an absolute banger of an ending. So I think if I had liked the core, like my problem with the original is that I think the middle is just like too much. Like there's just, I don't think it's very, I mean, I feel like an asshole. I feel a little presumptuous given that's considered to be an American classic. I get it. It's not that I just don't, I think that it's poorly plotted. Okay. Maybe that's just the long and the short of it. Far be it for me to criticize Mark Twain, but I think that that book is poorly plotted. And this book, I think this is better than the original for sure. I would recommend this over the original any day, because I think he does what he can with what, in my opinion, is a very poorly plotted book. So yeah, all that to say, I'm going to give this 4 stars, but it's much higher quality than that. And I want him to rewrite all classics that I didn't like originally. Like, this is such a better book than the original, in my opinion. And yeah, I really enjoy this. I've already put on my library list several of his backlists because he has a couple that are like characterized as thrillers or mysteries. So I'm very interested to see what he does with that. But yeah, this is a new author I'm going to be looking out for, because the writing was exquisite. So good. Some of the best I've read in a long time. Gimbal go wild, so I think that means it's time to be done. Okay, I'll talk to you for the next one. Finished another book just now. The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. This is very cute. This was recommended to me by Bethany. This was the reason I remembered the context for The Warden was I remembered she recommended both The Warden and The Wild Robot, because I was talking about how I was interested in trying to read some cozy sci-fi. Well, there's a middle grade book that I think you would like. And I did like it. It was very cute. So The Wild Robot is, I think middle grade is fair. It's probably it's like lower middle grade, upper chapter book probably. But it has cute little illustrations in it. Very pretty. And it's the story of a robot that washes up after a crash onto an island. And it has AI. The island is the only home it knows. So it makes the island its home. It learns to talk to the animals, makes friends and enemies, and, adventures ensue. I thought this was super cute. I believe this is a series, and I want to say this got adapted on Netflix, maybe? I don't know that I need to read more, but this was just, very charming. I can definitely see this being a good, if you have kids and you want to read something together that you're not going to hate, I think this would be a good one. And if you're like me and you're an adult reader of kind of cozier middle grade speculativeness, I thought this was very charming and a good recommendation for me. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars. Enjoyed it. Lovely. After a very long couple of weeks, I have been looking for relaxing things to read, and it did do that. So that was good. Onwards and upwards. I think I probably have time to read at least a couple more books, so let's see what all I get to. Guys, we got a good one. And I think we should end the vlog here because I just had a 5-star. I'm not sure. It's either a 4.5 or a 5-star, but I feel like we gotta end on a high note since I've only got, I think, 2 books left besides this. And that is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. This just feel like, this is like if Tamora Pierce wrote a book for an adult reader. And I loved it. It's the first in a trilogy. And actually, I did notice after, while I was reading, I was thinking that, and then I realized Tamora Pierce literally did comp this. This is so good. It's just exactly, it just is what I wanted. So I picked this up because of Angela at Literature Science Lines. And actually I just realized we absolutely have to end here because that's so poetic, because we started this vlog with a DNF from her, from something that she loved and like sold me on. And we're ending with a 5-star from something she sold me on. This is so good. It's a no, it's not YA, but I think this was her first adult book, and you can definitely feel the YA bones to this. It feels very, like I said, it feels very Tamora Pierce, but it starts with our main character as a child, and she's going to like this magical school, and we see her grow up, and then she's chosen to be a potential heir to the queen. So in this world, there are all these spirits of different elements, and the spirits have to have some kind of anchoring human command to balance them out. And so they choose the most worthy, or like the most powerful mistress of them. And she's going to school to hopefully be selected to like continue on in the process. Basically, things ensue from there. Do you know, this reminds me, it honestly gets pretty dark considering the tone, because it doesn't read like, it doesn't read YA. It reads almost like slightly cozy adult fantasy, but like some real shit is happening. And there's definitely some parallels one could make to the Poppy War. So, you know, this is not like, you know, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, cozy fantasy, but it definitely has a lot of those like really good character friendship dynamics that make something feel cozier. And it also has like an intrinsic belief in like goodness that feels cozy. So yeah, this I think you could read as a standalone. This is a complete story. There are 2 more books in this trilogy, and I have no idea where it's gonna go, but I definitely will read them. But if you just wanted to read, like, this is a complete story, just this. And I loved it. I just loved it. So I probably should sleep on it, and I'll circle back with you guys. Do I need to do that actually? Could I just end this here? Well, I definitely have to tally up everything I read and figure out where my, you know, pluses and minuses are for my TBR. So I guess I'll show you the stack to show you everything I read. I would say that the 2 big hits were definitely this, A Good Day to Pie, and James. Those are probably the 3 best ones. And I had a couple DNFs in there, but like interesting ones. I didn't have anything that I regret holding on to or regret reading or giving a try. So, yeah. So good. And we'll just, yeah, like I said, we'll just end it there. So, I'll show you my stack on the way out, and I'll show you my stats and my stack of where we stand with TBR read down. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and you know, hit the bell, like, all that stuff if you want to know what's going on here. I don't know what I'm going to post next, so I'll see you when I see you. In the meantime, I hope you're taking care of yourself and your friends, family, your community, and I hope you have some good stuff that you're reading. Maybe this. Okay, talk to you guys later.